What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So earlier this week over at Patreon, the people that support my channel, the patrons, I actually gave them the option to choose which survival video I would do next. And they chose, I gave them an option between zombie apocalypse or nuclear apocalypse. And I was hoping they'd choose zombie apocalypse, but they chose nuclear apocalypse, so I guess I have to do that one. So I'm going to do this one here for you guys. So this will be part of my survival city series. So if you want to check this stuff out over at Patreon, my link will be down in the description for it. So I also want to show you real quick, these shirts just came in. These are the How Real Men Take Me shirts. Already got baby snot on it, whatever. But they're in, so the link below that will be in the description too. This will take place with the How to Survive a Nuclear Attack. This will be the, I guess you could say, the second part of it. So this is hypothetical if it became nuclear winter and it turned into a nuclear apocalyptic wasteland, alright? So like the Fallout fans out there, fun game with Fallout fans out there, so you guys might enjoy this series. So let's get into this, shall we? You are lucky. You survived the initial attack, a nuclear attack. If you want the specifics, go back and check out the other video. Now, let's just say you were close to ground zero in like a kind of built up city area or whatnot, but you have some preparations. You were prepped and ready to go for something to happen. Basically, because you were so close to blast, you had to shelter in place for about a month. It's recommended by the FEMA and the government that, you know, it's about 24 to 48 hours if you're far enough away to shelter in place, so, you know, get away from the fallout. But if you're like in a city area and you're pretty much at ground zero, they recommend weeks, even month of sheltering in place. So this is a pretty bad blast. You survived. You were lucky enough to survive. You took cover, whether it was shelter that you had in your house or wherever it is. So you have your supplies, and you've had enough supplies, and you're starting to run out of supplies, all right? So you're starting to run out of supplies. The month is over. It's time to move, all right? So you got to get moving. You got to find some supplies. You got to survive. So there's a couple things that you're going to want to remember here. So if this was a nuclear you know, winter type of situation, there would be no emergency services up and running whatsoever. So there'd be no emergency services, there'd be no communication, so you're not going to have a line to, like, you know, get help quick and stuff like that. You basically have to rely on yourself and other people to survive this type of situation. You're running low on supplies, so you need to move. So what you need to do is you need to cover up your skin. Make sure your skin is covered up, because there's still going to be nuclear dust. The fallout dust is still going to be around. So you're going to want to cover up as many layers of skin as you possibly can. I covered that before in the last video. But you want to try to avoid contact with all that dust. I'd recommend a good pair of boots. I don't know what, like water resistant boots or heavy duty boots. Something that, you know, the stuff isn't just going to break through very easily. So a decent pair of boots that will last a decent amount of time. It won't be a good idea to have a second pair of boots available to you too, because you're going to be walking and moving around a lot. You're going to want a mask, some sort of mask, you know, like this right here. This is just a simple work mask, dust mask. I used this when I was cleaning boilers and stuff like that, get all the soot out of my face. All it's really doing is preventing you inhaling all the radioactive dust, the fallout dust. So I don't know how well those filters will work, but it's better than nothing, you know what I mean? It's better than nothing. You're going to want some potassium iodide. I covered that in my last video. You take a little bit, it helps your thyroid, and basically it actually helps you a little bit prevent radiation sickness a little. It helps prevent radiation sickness. It's not a perfect, but it helps, all right? Now you got the stuff you need. You got your pack. You're going to need a pack, obviously, with some supplies in it. You may have a little bit of food left. Throw it in there, non-perishables, you know, Chef Boyardee, whatever the heck you got, the non-perishable canned foods. Throw that in a bag. Have some sort of defensive tool with you, whether it's a pistol, whether it's a baseball bat, whatever it is, have some sort of tool available to you. If you are prepping prior to this, you're probably going to want a pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun. Those are going to be the best results for it. So those are the best bets to have. And if you can't have all three, then have at least a pistol and a rifle, okay? You have those, or if you don't have them, you got to find them, which is probably going to have to find if there's any sporting goods stores that haven't been completely ravaged and you know, taken apart or destroyed. A couple extra things you're gonna want. Okay, you're gonna want like some sort of sleeping system, whether it's a poncho liner, Mylar blankets. You're gonna want something that will keep your body off the ground if you have to get on the ground, because once again, you're trying to avoid as much of the radioactive dust as possible. Now, one thing you are going to want, this will be your it will determine how long you can survive. You're gonna want a Geiger counter, okay? Some sort of Geiger counter. Whether you had it prior or you gotta go find one, you gotta have some sort of Geiger counter, okay? The reason behind that is the nuclear, the radiation is just going to disappear. It's going to be all over the place. And if this was a nuclear winter, that means there was a lot of missiles that impacted, and bombs and everything else. There's going to be radiation all over the areas. So that can determine how safe you're going to be. You're going to literally have to go off your Geiger counter and the safest directions to go. If you're stuck in these areas, there's not going to be a ton of places for you to go because of the fallout and because of everything else. So you're probably going to have to find a safe area, a safe zone that has safe levels of radiation or no levels of radiation, where you can actually stay there and live there and create a shelter and stuff like that. So you're gonna need a Geiger counter, okay? Because that'll tell you what things is. You're gonna need to test the waters and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that'll help determine if water's radioactive or not. So quote me if I'm wrong or whatever, and give you any other tips if you're wrong or if I'm wrong. You're gonna want to be able to filter your water too, guys. Not just for fall. You can't get radiation out of water, but what you can do though is you can get the regular stuff, the amoebas and all. Maybe not amoebas, but you know what I mean. You still need to filter your water if you're gonna be drinking it. Maybe boil it if possible. But if there's fallout in the water and there's gonna be radioactive stuff, there's not much you can do about cleaning the water system with basic filters. Now, this is, like I said, this is going to take place like a month or so after the actually initial attacks. And like I said, no emergency services, no nothing. It's you and your family, or just you alone, or whatever. You have to depend on yourself to survive. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, once you step outside, is you are obviously have your Geiger counter ready and go, have batteries, set batteries to actually change them out and stuff like that. The first thing you're going to want to do is get some supplies for the road, okay? So you might have some supplies, you might still need a few things, so you're going to need to find some sort of area away from the radioactive areas, okay? You want to try to avoid as much of the radiation as possible and get actual minimal exposure to the radiation. If you have to be exposed to it, get exposed to it, but try to avoid it as much as you possibly can, okay? So what other extra supplies you need, go grab them. You could find a hand crank radio if you don't have one already. I don't know if it's actually going to work because most towers and everything else is going to be down. You have emerged, all right? So you got out into ground zero, the blast area. The radiation's kind of high. There's dust all over the place. There's dust is ashes and all that stuff. There's going to be bones. It's a doomsday thing. You're gonna go out there. It's gonna be a scary thing to see. It's gonna be you're gonna get adrenaline rushing and stuff like that. When you get out there, it's gonna be scary when you first step out. What you need to do is focus. Keep your head in the game. Okay. Turn on that Geiger counter. Get your ass away from the radiation affected areas. Okay. Get as far away from those areas as you possibly can. Whatever method you can get to go out there. If you gotta walk. I mean, you can try to use a vehicle. Doesn't necessarily mean the vehicle's gonna work. But you can try to use the vehicles. You need to get as far away from the blast area as you can, and you need to have that Geiger counter running so you're traveling in a safer radiation area. So get as far away from the blast area as you can. From an actual ground zero, it could be anywhere between 5 to 6 miles away before it's actually safe, okay, depending on the size of the blast and stuff like that. So get as far away from that area as you can. Once you get out of the area, that's when you really got to start looking for supplies, okay, wherever you can find them. Buildings, stores, or houses if you have to. Now keep in mind, guys, this is about a month after the blast and there's no emergency services or anything like that. So what people naturally do, the survivors, what they're naturally going to do is they're going to flock together and they're going to start building up communities. There's going to be a lot of different types of communities that you will actually find, okay? There will be communities of just decent people, all right? There's going to be communities of injured people. There's going to be communities with doctors that are actually trying to help people and stuff like that. There's going to be cultists. Cults will arise. The crazies always come out when crazy stuff happens. The cultists will come out there. So there's going to be communities based around cults. You have to be the judge of what the situation is and what the type of community is. There's going to be bad communities, there's going to be gangs, okay? There's going to be gangs. In the video game, they call them raiders, you know what I mean? But it's in real life, they'd be basically gangs, all right? They're just sociopaths, psychopaths. They are evil people, and they love committing evil acts, and they're going to be out there, okay? It is what it is. There's no emergency services, no laws. They're going to do whatever the heck they want, free reign, so they're going to be out and about. And these groups, they're all different people are going to flock together, okay? Every like-minded person, they're going to flock together and create these communities or gangs and stuff like that. So my recommendation is either find a community that has good people in it or something like that. That's, actually people trying to help it. avoid the crazy communities, avoid the bad communities. If you have bad heebie-jeebies, bad community, move on. Or go and create your own community, all right? So you might want to just survive a little bit by yourself. A community is going to help. Okay, communities, people work together as teams. They have all types of people in the medical and all that other stuff, and they work together, and they can create teams and actually survive together. But if you don't have any communities that are available to you, or you still haven't seen any things, or you only see bad communities, stay the heck away from them and get as far away from them as possibly as you can. You're gonna want to set up a shelter, okay? So this is say you don't find any communities that you actually can create or fit in or anything like that. Go find a shelter somewhere, a building. There's gonna be some buildings that are left, wherever it is, find a shelter. And you want it by water, clean water, okay? You're gonna want to find the shelter by some sort of water source. Right. Okay. That shelter, okay? Find it, wherever it is, find that shelter. Now, what you're gonna want to do is, hold on, get a little bit more coffee here. I post these videos at nights, but I actually make them in the morning. So my son's watching Parkchester Hotel. Once you find a shelter, a building, a cave, whatever it is, wherever you go to find the shelter, buy fresh water. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start mapping out the area, okay? Scouting out the area, mapping out the area, finding where everything is, where's other sources of water, where hunting trails are, or that type of thing. You need to know the area that you're working in. In the military, we call it the AO, the area of operations. This is the area you're going to be operating out of, I guess you can say, which is basically the area that you're living in. If you do anything, you're going to remain within that area. So you're going to want a map of some sort, or even paper, okay? Paper and pencil, whatever it is. And you need to create a map of that general area. Using the Geiger counter on the map, the high radiation areas and stuff like that, mark them down, find out where they are. And you know, it could take time to make it. You gotta make a map of your general area, you know, just to know where everything is, where the local, you know, where you can get some supplies if you need to be, if there's another community nearby, where they are, if there's a place where there's rumors to be gangs and stuff like that, or you know gangs are there, map out those areas, okay? So you gotta find those areas. Now in doing so, you're gonna have to leave your shelter, so you're gonna have to know how to get back to it, so you might want a compass, right? So you can actually adjust and know how to use the compass too, so you can actually figure out your way around and stuff like that. But what you're going to want is you're going to want some sort of binoculars, or if you have like a hunting rifle, use the scope, because you're going to want to scout out the areas from a distance before you actually approach these areas, okay? Because you don't know what's going to be over there. You don't know who's going to be over there. So you're going to want to scout out these areas, scout out the places where you get supplies, or if there was a supermarket that was nearby that you know of, or like a old Walmart that survived. It's going to be raided like crazy and stuff like that. But if it is nearby, that can be an area for you to get a few more supplies, or it could be an area for you to take shelter if something ever comes up, or a supplementary position if you want to say that. So other buildings, stuff like that, mine shafts. Know everything in the area, the terrain, the buildings, the people, and all that stuff. Map that out, okay? Map that out and bring it back to your area, or to your actual shelter where you're going to be keeping your shelter. Now, you're going to want to know this area like the back of your hand. So you're going to want to memorize this area pretty much, because you got to know where everything is. You got to know where people are. If an emergency comes or the gangs come, where you can go and where you can survive and where you can hide and stuff like that, okay? So know those areas. So, you know, on that note, you know, the war might not officially be over yet. So there could be more missiles coming in. So if something does, you know, you got to know where you can take shelter in case, okay? For the most part, by this time, it's probably going to be over, but you just don't know, okay? You don't know if there's going to be invading ground forces or anything like that, but you actually check that out in my How to Survive a Red Dawn Invasion video too. That's there too. Once you have the shelter completely established, you have the area mapped out, you know where everything is, and you know the safe areas, you know the hunting areas and all that other stuff. The next thing you're going to want is you're going to want to start building up a community, okay? You are going to want to start building a community. Like I said, you want to avoid bad people, but at the same time is you can't do everything by yourself. I mean, you can't. You just can't. I mean, or if you have your family with you, you know, together you're gonna need help. You know, even if it's just a family, your entire family together, that's better than nothing. Okay, but by yourself, it's gonna be tough. By yourself, it's gonna be very tough. You need people that can do different things. You need someone that knows medical training. You know, it's someone like a nurse, a doctor, or whatever it is, a EMT. You need someone that can do stuff like that. You're going to need someone that knows how to hunt if you don't know how to hunt. Someone that knows how to hunt. Okay. You need people that know how to do manual labor and fix different things up and build up walls and stuff like that, or carpenters. You're going to need someone like that that is there for you, a couple people like that are there for you, because this is going to be an extended period. I mean, basically crap happened and we're back to, you know, nothing. You know, we're back to the Stone Age. So you need to start building up communities, okay? So you got to start building up communities so people can flourish, you know what I mean? So you need people with different tasks, okay? And like I said, there's going to be the gangs, there's going to be raiders, there's going to be bad peoples, bad tribes, you know, I'm going back to that type of thing. There's going to be good tribes, bad tribes type of thing, good clans, bad clans, whatever you want to call it. So there's going to be that type of people. So you're going to want to set up like some sort of watch, okay? Which means you can't do it all by yourself. You can't be sleeping, you know, when it's nighttime. You can't just go to sleep by yourself and hope nothing happens. You need someone to keep an eye on what's going on, make sure there's no fires, make sure there's no invaders, make sure there's nothing like that. So you're going to want to set up some sort of watch. So once again, you're going to need some sort of community or squad or team or something like that that you can actually work together with and, you know, survive together with, all right? Now, on top of that too, you're going to want to continue gathering supplies for this community, which means if you go out, bring stuff back a little bit at a time. Go out with empty bags, come back with full bags, you know, and stock up the supplies, stock up that type of stuff. So you're going to want some sort of supplies. You're going to need people and livestock. You're going to need people that know how to handle livestock too, you know. If you're going to be at a place for an extended period of time, you're creating a community, a town out of it, then you're going to need livestock, you're going to need all that type of stuff, and people know how to butcher it and all that other stuff, because you got to have food, you know. It's just, you know, you got to, you know. So hunter gatherer, or you could have livestock too, so you need a little bit of combination of everything, all right? So you're going to want livestock. You start knowing which communities are the good communities that you can actually rely on, that you actually make friends with, I guess you could say, because you're going to need to trade, okay? You're going to have to start trading. Now, think about it like this, guys. You know, it's not like money or debit cards or stuff like that now. In a situation like this, people are not going to value money worth a damn. You know, a dollar bill is more like toilet paper to them. What they're going to want as supplies and bartering stuff is, well, supplies, stuff that, you know, they can actually use. You know, gold doesn't mean crap in a situation like this. What you need is water, you know, food, maybe alcohol if you have alcohol. People like that stuff. Books, people like books. People are a little bit of home, you know, Bibles, you know, that type of stuff. People are going to want that stuff. They're going to need the necessities or the humanizing items. What I mean by humanizing is stuff that, you know, books and stuff like that, that allows you to just relax and be person, you know, remind you of the good old days, like you say. That's what they're going to be wanting to barter. So as you're gathering supplies, gather this stuff too. If you see stuff like books and thing, grab the books, all right? And besides, it's nice to have that history that's flying around. So you know, you're starting a community, you're going to want to eventually establish schools. So you're going to need as many books and stuff like that you're going to need, especially if you're not a genius like math. Like I suck at math, all right? I just suck at math. So you need someone that can do that. You need, you know, books that can teach that stuff, because like I said, if you're going to be in this period for a long time, we're starting from scratch. We got to build up again, you know? So you're going to need that background, you need information, you're going to need the schooling and stuff like that. It's going to be a long ways from then, but you catch your drift, guys. When you're trading, or when you're getting supplies, grab whatever goods you can find, because people are going to want that stuff, okay? You're going to barter, and, you know, maybe they want this book, and because of this book, they'll give you, you know, a week's worth of meat, you know what I mean? So you never know, guys. Or seasonings, you know, like seasonings are great. You know, seasonings make old dull food into good food. And believe it or not, like when you're deployed, simple seasonings are just awesome, okay? Seasonings are awesome, and it feels better when you have seasonings on it. While you're building up the supplies and your community's building up, you're also going to want to build up some sort of defenses, okay? Defenses against wild animals and against the gangs. I mean, the evils in the world, no matter what the situation is, there's going to be evil. So you're going to want to protect your community and protect your loved ones and everyone else. So you're going to need some sort of defenses, whether it's walls, sandbag bunkers, whatever it is, you need that type of stuff, okay? So while you're establishing this community, you need to start building up the defenses. Laws. You need to get laws going. Someone has to be in charge, okay? Someone has to be in charge. There's going to be some communities where psychopaths are in charge. There's going to be some communities where the cultists, where the cult leader's in charge. There's going to be all these different types of communities. If you want a successful community, you need to have some sort of laws and regulations. So there needs to be like some sort of sheriff, I guess you could say that, or type of thing. And mayor, someone that actually, you know, helps and, you know, organizes things and tells people what to do. And okay, we need defenses here, we need defenses here. Okay, you guys are tasked with this, you guys are tasked with this. Someone needs to be a supervisor, someone needs to be in charge. So And there has to be, like I said, there has to be some sort of laws and punishment system, okay? If you do this, then we're going to take you out and you are going to, dig these, poop trenches, you know what I mean? So you have to have some sort of punishment system. And if they violently break laws and start going crazy and start turning into like a gangster, yeah, they're going to have to get locked up or banished, okay? Or worse if you have to, okay? So keep that stuff in mind. You're going to need all that stuff to get the community going and actually getting things running again and back in order. So you have to be trading with other communities that you can trust. You need to have some sort of establishment that you're actually creating where someone actually leads what's going on and, leads those people. And always task people with stuff, okay? People get bored quickly, and nothing is worse than being bored and disheartened. Give them tasks. Keep them busy. Keep people busy, okay? I'm not talking hardcore labor. Just keep them busy, okay? I need you to gather this. I need you to do this. Oh, can you do this? Can you do this over here? Okay, we're trying to build this over here. I need as many people over here to do that. You got to keep that stuff going on. Stop, all right? So you have all this stuff established. You have all these routes going. Oh, big one, reconnaissance. You're going to want to be doing reconnaissance, having some sort of military group going out and checking the area for threats, gangs, all that other stuff. Tribes, whatever you want to call them, you are going to want some sort of reconnaissance of the general area, your area of operations. You have to keep the place safe, so you know what's going on and know where everyone is. So you're going to have daily reconnaissance patrols and stuff like that, seeing what's going on. You got to find people and that type of thing. That's where those come into play. So there you have it, guys. That's what you got to do. You basically got to get away from the blast, create community, get your supplies and stuff like that, and you have to, from then on, you just got to survive. You got to do your best to survive and keep trying to build up your community and keep trying to build up a community, because in the end, guys, we want communities back. We want law back, okay? We don't like without rule of law. We don't want that type of situation. We want rule of law. That's what makes people better people. That's what makes things easier when there's actually laws or systems, there's punishment systems and stuff like that. So you're going to want to establish communities and start building up from there and start expanding. So we got to repopulate the earth, you know what I mean? There you have it, guys. So down below in the description, I'll have my link to Patreon and to the t-shirts if you like the t-shirts. And that's it, guys. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me, guys, and remember, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other.